Sasa nitachukua maswali. Sorry.
Kwa sawa. Mimi naitwa Steven Leto wa Citizen TV. The proponents of the BBI referendum have said on Wednesday last week that the window for more amendments was already closed on that day, and that even today and the other day, more amendments, proposals from the Ilchamus community, as well as from Mombasa, were rejected, and that the signature collection is already ongoing. Number one, with your new, recommendations that you've brought forward, are you then seeking a suspension of the ongoing signature collection drive? And number two, the Secretariat has released timelines to have the referendum conducted before or by June next year. Should all these demands that you've made today not be made, including the consensus, are you going to flush the no card?
Thank you very much. I'm sure you are not new to the issue that the door is closed. Even in Bomas, we were told the door is closed. But our position is that it is never too late to do the right thing. This is our country. There are people who are saying it is late. How is it late? What is the crisis? What is the problem? This is our country. I want anybody to discount the proposals we are making here on the size of parliament, on the need for consensus on the ombudsman, on the need for consensus on the constituencies, if they are not reasonable. You can only discount them that they are not reasonable. But if they are reasonable, honestly, all it will take is to republish the bill and we go to the referendum. We have absolutely no problem with the collection. What is more important is the content of what we are going to vote for. And that is our concern at the moment. Our priority at the moment is to improve the content of the text that will be voted for. The collection of signatures is the easy part. And maybe just to answer your question further, to say, let us not be simplistic and say, are you going to vote no or yes? That's a very simplistic approach. If we had taken that approach, we would not have made the improvements we have made from Bomas to KICC. Many people were pushing that the people who have better ideas should go and join the no team. We think that is that's actually reckless. It's not right. I think consensus requires that we listen to one another. In fact, building bridges means you have to reach out to the other side. I think it is even against the spirit of building bridges for anybody to shut a door on a good idea. Yes, my good friend. If you listen to our statement, we said women representation must be, to as great an extent as possible, elected. We want to discourage nominations. We should be, even if we are feeling the 2/3 gender rule, it must be elected representatives, women elected representatives. And we have suggested that let us have a conversation after the election of 47 women and the election in the Senate and 47 women in the National Assembly. We should have a conversation on Article 81, which discusses affirmative action. We should have a conversation. What do we do? How do we make sure? Do we make it progressive, or do we have additional women nominated to the National Assembly? That's the conversation we are inviting others to contribute, because we do not have the monopoly of good ideas. We believe that this should be open to a discussion with other stakeholders. Good evening.
There is a question that has just been asked about representation.
Yes.
And in the other case, we were looking at a likely scenario where no woman is elected in all the 360 constituencies. You're proposing that we have this conversation after the election of 47 women representatives in the National Assembly and 47 in the Senate. Are we not going to end up with the 600 and something members of parliament after we've had that conversation? Number one. Number two, on the question of holding a referendum alongside the general election, are you basically telling your supporters that if the push to have a referendum by August next year is on, you're going to reject it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mureithi. I think you did not hear properly what we said. What we said, the conversation we are talking about is about reducing the current members of parliament from 600. And I have told you the proposal we are putting on the table, in whatever form, will bring down that number from the number that is being proposed under the BBI arrangement. A minimum of 60 MPs will be slashed out by adopting the proposal we have made, even if we nominate the rest of the women to fill the 2/3 gender rule. So our proposal from the start will cut down the number of MPs that is being proposed currently in the BBI document. That's number one. We can even reduce it further, the size of parliament. We can even reduce the size of parliament further if we have a discussion about Article 81. Yeah, so that's the position. And then finally, relax. Finally, you have said that you always want to go to this yes, no. You know, what we are saying is we are having a conversation, right? We are having a conversation. And when you are having a conversation on building consensus, you don't jump to conclusions. You know, we in any case, when we pass the law in Parliament that gives options for citizens, why would anybody want to oppose the document? Because there will be no need to oppose the document in its whole, because you can isolate the issues that you want to vote for, and you can isolate the issues that you want to vote against. And it will just be as good as that. So there will be no, the camp of yes and the camp of no will not exist. There will be people voting for different things in different, I know you are used to the old yes, no. We can make it better. Yes.
And my brother Ruto asked a question, and the same question we don't have an answer. In the event that the BBI Secretariat remains stubborn and they don't include the proposals that you have, what are the steps or the step are you going to take as the group?
Why don't you allow them? You know, why don't you? Why do you want to? Why don't you allow them? Even if they say whatever they are saying, it has been said before. But you know, there is nobody who will resist. There is nobody who will resist what is right. The people on the other side are reasonable people. They are also intelligent. That is why they took on board the suggestions that were made by stakeholders after Bomas, even after they said nothing will be changed. So they are reasonable and intelligent people, and they should be able to look at the merit of what we are saying. If it makes sense, we are comfortable that in their intelligence and reasonableness, they should be able to take on board what we are saying. Mwisho.
Bwana DP, we've been patient. We've listened to, apart from waiting, tumesikia statement imesoma for 1 hour. I can see the leaders want to leave when we are just seeking clarification. So I don't know what is the hurry, but since you are the host, maybe you can remain with us. Since you are the host, maybe you can remain with us until we get it clear. I have 2 quick questions I want to know from you. We are lost. We are beating around the bush. To borrow the age's words, he said, we are circumlocuting. Can we get it clear in the event that you are pushing for consensus? Yesterday, we were given an update that it's over 2 million signatures. The window for signature collection is Friday, which means the next stop is the verification. In the case there is no room for consensus, are you for yes, are you for no? In the event that the consensus you are rooting for is not. The second question, what you are talking about the Kioni CIOC, it's a referendum bill that is already in court. Even if it has already been suspended, and even if it was not suspended, that is what would give us a referendum law. Now, what we are having is the referendum question that has been framed under the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020. So could we address ourselves to this one? Because what Kioni is rooting for is a bill that maybe will come into law to have a referendum law in the country.
You have your facts on that particular issue, Haemba, with a lot of respect. Your facts are not together. We have actually 2 referendum laws in Parliament, 2 of them. Bills. We have 2 bills in Parliament. One by the Kioni Committee, one by the JLAC, right? And all of them are actually almost at the tail end. Yeah? In fact, the Speaker was supposed to give a ruling on harmonizing the 2. So, the reality of having a multiple choice referendum is real. So you need to relax. The referendum is not happening next week. If at all, this referendum will be happening in April next year or some other place at the earliest. So relax. So that is one. So when we talk about the possibility of us having a multi-choice referendum, we are not talking about something in space. We are talking about a reality. And members of the committees are seated here. And they have given us assurance that it is possible for that bill to be finalized in time for us to use it for a referendum. Are we together, Haemba? So, again, we are used to this yes, no, win, lose, or all or nothing. Please relax. There is another way of doing things called win-win. And that is what we are trying to fashion. It is not customary. It is not usual. That's why you have a problem with it. Because you are not used to, you are just used to, oh, are you yes or are you no? Are we together, Haemba? So what we are saying, we want to improve our country, my friend. When you find me, you know me, normally I take positions and I'm very clear about. But you see, I am deputy president today, and I have the interests of every Kenyan. There are people who support us, and they want a real choice to express themselves. There are issues they agree with, they want to vote for. There are issues they don't agree with, they want to vote against. And there is a real possibility for us to give them a chance to do that. Why do you, Haemba, want us to deny them a chance and to tell them, go vote no or yes? Why? Honestly. You should, Haemba, with a lot of respect, you should be helping me make the case that there is another way of doing this where we do not divide the country, yes, no. We can actually vote on the issues. Tuko pamoja? Okay, good people. Asante sana. Asante sana. And I wish you well, asanteni sana, and all the best in whatever you're doing.
Chakula iko.